Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of July 26th, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week, early this week, Venus will stand still in the sky and begin going retrograde. So we'll stand still and begin her retrograde motion, what astrologers call stationary retrograde. Truly powerful time when her energies are that much more magnified. And the passion is really in the air as well. Now, I spoke about this at length in the Venus special horoscope, so please do have a look at that, where I go through each of the signs and talk about how this unique Venus retrograde season speaks to you and your sign, but also to us as a collective. So I really dived in that video to this symbolism, Venus retrograde. So Venus retrograde starts now. And as Venus retrograde begins, so too begins Uranus retrograde. So Uranus also will stand still in the sky and begin to go backwards this week, early in the week as well. This to me is a very powerful symbol playing out. These two planets both standing still and going retrograde at the same time. Venus, of course, is about love, and that includes self-value, knowing that you are worthy of receiving and understanding your own worth. With Venus retrograde, it's about going within and connecting to the internal qualities within you, to ask yourself to really define what it means to value yourself and what it really means to believe that you deserve to receive. What place within you is that belief going to come from? You add to this Uranus going retrograde as well. Now, Uranus is about freedom, freedom from the known, as it's been called, freedom to really be yourself. And when Uranus goes retrograde, it is about moving away from demonstrations of freedom. And what I mean by that is, instead of showing people and doing things that are out there and wild and crazy to show how unique you can be, to show how free you can be, this is about really going within and understanding what it is that does make you, you, and uniquely you. What it is ultimately that is your truth. And what it is ultimately that it means to live that truth that arises from within, that is a genuine expression of your soul and of your soul's calling as well. This truly becomes about moving away from who you've been conditioned to be in favor of who you've been created to be, to borrow Jeff Green's words. So this to me is a very powerful time because it does suggest, yes, there's an element of reflection wherever it is that we've been caught up in sort of demonstrations of independence so that we didn't have to actually take the risk or actually ask ourselves what it is that we really need to be truly happy. This is a time when we cross that barrier, we cross that bridge. We move beyond just needing to prove how unique we are and actually begin to live closer to something true to our own instincts and true to our own heart as well. And wherever there have been barriers that have been getting in the way of you truly being yourself in the world, this becomes a powerful time of identifying them and healing them so that you can shine your light that much brighter. So Uranus standing still in the sky can bring surprises that seem to come out of nowhere, okay? So it can be a time of unpredictability, and it can also be a time of, revelation, epiphany. It can be a time of a revolution within as well. So pay attention to your life and let the catharsis come. This can certainly be a time that just changes just about everything in a blink of an eye. And supporting this Uranus, supporting this Uranus retrograde, or the fact that Uranus's energies are going to be so magnified, is the fact that as we move towards the later part of the week, the month will end with a full moon in the sign of Aquarius. So Uranus is the ruling planet of Aquarius, and it is Aquarian energy that is magnified as we progress towards the end of the week. Now, this particular full moon is standing across the sky from Mercury. We've already got a climate of surprises. And then you add to this the sign that has to do with surprises, having a full moon. Well, this is a realization on an emotional level, acknowledging a truth that's been staring you in the face, and finally being honest with ourselves. Now, we do have Mercury standing across the sky from this full moon, which suggests that it is going to be a one-on-one interaction or conversation or communication that really opens our eyes, that gets us to that point of honesty and gets us to that point of really understanding what we need to be free and to be ourselves, to be genuinely and honestly ourselves, and to express that. What do we need to do to express that sense of honesty and genuineness within? All of that is going to be highlighted under this particular full moon and under this particular week as well. So welcome those conversations, because ultimately they're about getting us to be honest with ourselves and getting us to see ourselves through a different lens. Before the week is out, we will also have Venus retrograding back into the sign of Leo, where she's going to spend most of her retrograde cycle. So now Venus retrogrades back into Leo and the fun can really begin. So again, I talked about that at length in the Venus-focused horoscopes for this special season of Venus retrograde. So please do have a look at that for a more complete picture ahead. And before the month is out, August begins. So very happy August to everybody out there. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction, looking at the celestial overview for this week. Truly so grateful for this moment with you. Thank you so much for watching Synchronicity University. I just really wanted to say that, give you guys a shout out. I'm so grateful for the amazing feedback you guys have been giving, and of course the questions you've been asking. Please continue to use hashtag #AskNadiya in terms of asking any astrology questions that you might have. And I have a list. I'm going through the list, I promise you, and working overtime to get as much content out there, and especially where it comes to Synchronicity University. Love that you guys are watching it. Love the feedback on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and of course the YouTube comments as well. Sometimes I'm asked questions that are a little bit more personal, that have to do with your unique situation. If that's the case, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that. I can look at your unique situation in light of whatever it is that you'd like me to look at. The horoscopes, the personalized horoscopes, traditionally that I've offered since really the beginning of 2011, I've been offering them, had pretty standard focuses: career and money, love, relationships, relocation, health, and perhaps any specific situation and other focus. So any specific situation that you wanted me to look into. Well, now I'm also offering 3 new areas of focus, and that is looking at luck and success, luck and love, and also life purpose. So these are areas that I'm asked about quite a bit as well. So I'm very happy to explore those with you in a personalized horoscope. So again, you can go onto my website, learn more about that. But of course, I'm so very grateful for this moment with you, and just grateful for your viewership as well. I do believe everything that I do, absolutely everything that I put out into the world, is to affirm that the universe is wise and loving. I believe it. My life has shown me this to be true, even as part of the mystery, even when it seems like that is totally, like life is the complete opposite, that is totally not the case. As part of the mystery, we actually are, in our individual lives and in our own unique ways, being moved towards greater love and greater wisdom. My hope for you is that in some way, this horoscope, this videoscope, affirms that for you and infuses your life with hope and inspiration. Finally, I do want to say the hard copy for my book is here. The hard copy for my book, Astrology Realized. Truly so excited about this. This has definitely been part of, living a dream come true. Thanks to you guys as well. You guys are really liking it. Lots of great feedback on this. And you guys are buying it. So thank you. You can buy it online at Amazon. And of course, through my website, you can learn so much more. You can download the first chapter, really the whole first. It's a big chapter too. You can download it for free on my website as well. I will have hard copies of my book on hand at my talk that I'll be giving at Lilydale Assembly in New York State, USA. I'll be giving a talk on making the best choices with astrology. Really hope to meet friends and fans out there. And after my talk, I'll be signing copies of my book as well. Well, thank you so much for watching my announcements, the introduction to the week, and all the wonderful, wonderful celestial events that we have guiding us this week as well. How all this speaks to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have got Uranus in your sign standing still and beginning to go retro. Now, I think that this is so important for you especially. This is all about you being honest with yourself, about how you are changing and who you have now become. So this to me represents an important turning point where you are starting to understand that you are shifting on a level of identity and starting to embrace it, starting to integrate it that much more deeply. Now this may affect your friendships. It may be a part of a process that leads you to start to see yourself and see the people who are around you a little bit differently as you come to define yourself differently through this process. But in a significant way, you are going to feel something in your heart open that much wider as you more fully come to accept yourself and more fully come to understand yourself as well. In the context of love this week, really, it's all about Venus for all of us. So I will advise you to watch the Venus horoscope, but this week, really, Venus beginning to go retrograde, and before the week is out, stepping back into a really romantic part of the sky. You will be wanting to get your flirt on. You will be feeling frisky as well. So if you are with somebody that you love, it's going to feel that much more loving. If you're open to meeting somebody new, there's a very, very strong possibility right about now that a flirt could turn especially passionate. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we've got Uranus standing still in a very quiet part of your sky, in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the dream realm and what's happening on unconscious, subconscious levels. And so this can indicate some really vivid dreams on your part, okay? So embrace them. This can also indicate, I gotta say, Uranus stationary in this part of the sky, real restlessness. It might be hard to get some sleep. It might be hard to rest. So just understand, go along with it. Sometimes with Uranus, yes, the light that shines is really clear and really honest and really true. And sometimes the light that shines is really erratic and really out there, and there's all kinds of pieces and they don't connect and they don't make a lot of sense. So whatever it is that's coming up for you now, embrace it, accept it, allow it to be whatever it is that it needs to be. And in the process, understand that something within your psyche is being cleansed. So that is something that you can actually embrace very open-heartedly, for that matter, because it is here in the unconscious that those little things that end up sabotaging our best intentions are. Well, it's about you being honest about that, or at the very least on an energetic level, starting to cleanse that from you. In the context of love, it's all about Venus, as I spoke about in the intro. Please watch the Venus horoscope, because it's those themes I talk about there are amplified, are exemplified now. And for you, this is about looking at your past in love, looking at what was, healing the past in love as well. So if you're in an established bond, you'll be healing whatever hurts there might have been that you haven't talked about in a while. You'll be healing those. And if you're open to meeting somebody new, there's very much an eye towards those with whom you are already comfortable. So be thinking about past loves, and maybe a connection, a reconnection is possible now. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we have got Uranus standing still in the sky, and a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships. So to me, this says friends may just seem to come out of nowhere, might surprise you. And also, I think a friend might end up being really different than you anticipated. It's almost like you see this whole other side to a friend that just downright surprises you. Like, oh, wow, okay, I didn't know you could be like that. I didn't know that that was actually a part of you. So it's almost as if there's a very clear distinction between who you have known them as and who now they are demonstrating themselves to be. So you may see them in a whole other context. Might take you aback a little bit, but the great thing about your sign is that you understand the need to have to compartmentalize different roles that you may have. That's something that you understand. We all have that. We all have various roles we play, okay? You're not necessarily going to act around your mom the way you're going to act around your coworkers or around your friends from back in the day. You're not necessarily going to be like that with your grandma. So we all have these different roles that we play. And your sign, more than most, understands that and embraces that. And so when that seems to be the case, and when you see that in another person, allow them to have that distinct space as well. Now, with this particular full moon, it's really highlighting your desire to get out there. There's going to be a real sense of adventure with this and a call to adventure with this. My hope is that you embrace it, because adventure always leads to good things. In this case, it'll lead you to a whole other way of considering your life, but also possibly love as well. And where it comes to love, with this particular full moon and Mercury standing across it, I actually think with your ruling planet standing across this full moon, it's going to play out in your relationships more than it might for other signs. And it is going to be your relationship or love, or your desire for love, that's going to speak to you as part of your call to adventure. So there's going to be a very strong part of you that is going to be inspired to take that trip in the hopes of meeting somebody new, or in the hopes of reconnecting and fostering the romance with the person that you are with. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got Uranus standing still in a part of the sky for you that has to do with your career. It has to do with ambition, it has to do with life purpose, and it has to do with an understanding of legacy. What legacy is it that you most desire to leave, and are you manifesting that? So whatever needs to change within you, whatever alterations need to happen within you so that you can more fully realize what you believe is your purpose, that begins to happen now. Now, what's interesting to me about this particular conversation, and it's been happening over the course of the decade, this to me is slowly but surely leading you on a pathway towards aligning your career and adjusting your life purpose with a true calling, with real sense of a genuine expression. So it isn't about going for something or wanting something or believing your purpose is something that someone might have told you or that you always wanted, but it's about really checking within and really getting clear with yourself about just what it is that purpose is, and finding that clear channel towards it, embracing something more honest, a more genuine expression, and allowing yourself to align with a higher vision for your life. So that's what's highlighted for you now as Uranus stands still, where you ask yourself, okay, am I really aligned with a higher purpose or not? Is this what I'm really meant to do at this point in my life? Well, a part of me wants to say, look, if you're doing it, it means that's what you're meant to do. If it's in front of you to do, you're meant to do it. But at the same time, we have tremendous agency. We have tremendous power over our lives as well. So it's going to be up to you to ask those questions and to seek to be honest with yourself. If you have that genuine desire, the universe will make it abundantly clear to you, wherever it is that adjustments might need to be made. Just on a very literal front, you might find changes taking place. A different boss might show up right about now. A chance promotion might happen. But it looks like at the higher up level, there are some surprising changes set to take place. In the context of love this week, really, it's all about Venus. Venus now is retrograde as we start the week, and will retrograde into the sign just in front of yours. So there's this big focus on the self-worth element of this Venus retrograde. So Venus retrograde in general does ask us, do I love it? Yes, asks us a big question. Do I love it? But also asks us, am I worthy? And asks us to understand that we are worthy of receiving. So for you, that worthiness part of the puzzle becomes that much more amplified. So if you are in an established bond, I think this is going to be a time when you're going to start to look at what the bond is, where it could be better, and where it is actually an accurate reflection of your own sense of worthiness. You also might be looking to the past and looking at where it is maybe in the past you accepted a situation that was less than ideal, and what it might have said to your own understanding of what you deserved. As you seek to be more honest with yourself, you actually heal what was, so you can move into the future with that much more clarity and that much more openness to a love that truly is rooted in love for self. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we've got Uranus standing still in a part of the sky for you that has to do with adventure, that has to do with wanting to get out there and get out into the world and experience something new, and knowing something new, learning something new. When we have Uranus standing still in this part of the sky, that call is so notable that you can't ignore it. So this is where you start to, either you'll, say, I'm buying my ticket, bye, I'm gone. Or this is going to be a time when you say to yourself, okay, let me start doing what I need to do and put things into place so that I can get where it is that I want to go. Now that's metaphorically, but also literally as well. Now you add to this the fact that Venus will move back into your sign, retro back into your sign, and a full moon in your opposite sign. Big focus on love, a big focus on love this week. So it is going to be about another person. Those of you who are in an established bond, you'll be talking a lot of things out right about now. But also, I do think there's going to be an element of sweetness there. You'll be reminded of your lovability. And also, you'll be reminded of ultimately what it is, the passion, the sweetness, because passion will be on high this week, that is actually available to you in this bond. But you will be talking a lot of things out. That's a very notable part of this full moon. Those of you open to meeting somebody new, I think either it's going to be online or, you'll be talking, chatting. Some interaction is set to happen. Largely it'll be on a communication level, but it's ultimately meant to show you where you are in the context of love and what it is, what barriers there may be within you that you need to release to welcome in a greater love than you've known before. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got Uranus standing still in the sky, and a part of the sky for you that has to do with finances. So this has to do with grants, loans, bursaries, insurance payments, tax returns. So it's that type of what we call other people's money that's going to be highlighted by this. Now, this can bring with it, you do want to watch what's happening early in the week, because this can bring with it financial talks that also are about financial clarity. So whether it's you delivering the clarity to another person or you receiving a clarity, you are going to in some way take an honest stock of where you are in terms of your savings, where it is in terms of being able to access more resources as well. And I think that you might actually surprise yourself by allowing yourself to have those conversations to realize that you're actually richer, not only emotionally, but literally as well. You might actually be richer than you realize. What we also have happening this week, of course, is the full moon. Now, this full moon is happening for you in a part of the sky that has to do with your daily routines and your daily habits. And so do make sure that you're watching to take the very best of care of you. You might be having conversations around your health right about now in order to seek out information so that you can experience the best of health. Where it comes to love, it's all about Venus this week. Venus is retro in your sign for most of the week. So you've got Venus in your sign. Make the most of this time. You'll be feeling passionate. You'll be feeling beautiful. You'll be having a very strong desire to connect with another person. So if you're in an established bond, that's awesome. Tell somebody that you love the one you're with, as they say, and tell the one you're with that you love them. So make sure that that happens. And if you are open to meeting somebody new, that certainly can happen for you, especially in the early part of the week, quite by surprise, thanks to Uranus. It could just seem to come out of nowhere, a very passionate moment to be had, or a meeting as well. Now, by the time we get to the end of the week, Venus will leave your sign, so the energy becomes a lot more quieter. But at the very least, this is a beginning, letting you know just how good you can feel. Hello, fabulous Libra. Early this week, we have got Uranus standing still in the sky and beginning to go backwards. So this is happening in your opposite sign. This is all about relationships. And this is about you being honest about at least one key partnership in your life, whether it's a romantic partnership or a business partnership. You are going to get clear with yourself about what's really happening in this dynamic, what role this person is playing, but also the true intentions behind recent events as well. So if this is a romantic alliance, I do think if you're in an established bond, this will play out. So if you're in an established bond, then this very likely is going to be a time when you are finally seeing this person a little bit more clearly. Either it's you being honest with them about something you've been holding back, or they will be honest with you, or a situation will reveal the honesty to each other. But it's a truth that very much needs to come out. Now, thankfully, Venus is in a supportive place because she is retro, newly retro this week. So passion is on high. The desire for love is on high. And that alone means that whether the surprise, I mean, it really could go either way. It could be amazingly great, or it might not be so awesome. And if you're one of those who finds it not so awesome, that Venus will step in to bring a measure of healing and a genuine desire to make things work and to work very well. If it is a business partnership, you can call on Venus as well to bring some charm into the situation, but it looks like it's either going to be a leap forward in that bond or some sort of like other layers of clarity that need to happen are finally going to be taking place as well to help you decide, and you two to decide together, how you want to proceed forward. Those of you who are not in an established bond, who are open to meeting somebody new, this can be a time, passions are on high. It becomes a lot more about Venus, okay? So if you meet somebody new, I gotta say, because of Uranus, it looks like anyone you meet new ultimately is about showing you your own barriers, showing you where it is that you need to be more available to love. But thanks to Venus, you likely are going to be more available to love, especially in social situations. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week, we've got Uranus standing still in the sky, and a part of the sky for you that has to do with the workplace. So this should bring about with it some changes happening on the work front and in the workplace as well. So this can be a really interesting energy. This can be a time when you are really looking at what is taking place in your work environment and how it is that you're actually working, and do you like it, do you not? This can be a time when people leave, like very suddenly. Certain projects might come to an end, certain contracts of coworkers might come to an end as well. And this can also be a time when just physically the space might start to look different. So it might be just new furniture needs to come in as well. What also is fascinating about this to me is that if you are self-employed, there's an element here of clients where you might find yourself attracting quite by surprise a client, maybe somebody who's actually famous or has some renown to them. This can also be attracting a client who very likely gets you to see what you do in your work in a very different way, ultimately liberating you in the process so that you understand how you can do what you do that much more effectively and as that much more of a genuine expression, allowing you to see where change can happen that ultimately is going to move you positively forward. In the context of love this week, it's all about Venus. As I've been saying, it's all about Venus. So for you, Venus retrograde at the very top of your sky. Before that, for much of the week, Venus begins to retrograde in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendship before very quickly moving into the very top of your sky, making her position that much more prominent. So early in the week, great time to connect with friends and to participate in social things. If you're in an established bond, be social together. If you're open to meeting somebody new, get together with friends, because it's with friends that you're likely to make those connections. But as we progress towards the end of the week, you're thinking a lot more big picture. And this becomes a time when you are really considering, who's really part of that higher path you believe that you're traveling. And wherever it is that you feel that that's not really there, you're going to start to be honest with yourself about that just a little bit more deeply as you seek to understand ultimately what it is that you're going for in your highest vision of love. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got Uranus standing still and beginning to go retrograde in a part of the sky for you that has to do with the love, really. It has to do with love and romance and the feelings that love provide. So Venus standing still in this part of the sky, Uranus standing still in this part of the sky beginning to go retro. Then you've got Venus standing still in a part of the sky for you that is very much your element, that feels very much like home. Well, you put that together, and these are some really strong energies indicating love that feels like it's in your element, that feels like home. So if you're in an established bond, this can be some, very romantic, being swept away by the one that you love, a feeling of very strong passion for this person, but also feeling very fertile. So you are going to want to watch that if that's something that you want to watch. If you want to magnify that energy, you can. If you want to pull back on that energy, you can as well. Those of you who are dating somebody especially are going to find this a very beneficial week where you're just enjoying this person's company that much more, loving getting to know them. And if you're open to meeting somebody new, there's lots of cosmic support to make that happen, especially if you're looking like outside of your comfort zone. And especially if you're looking at what they call like foreigners, right? As the ancients would call. So somebody who lives in a foreign land or is from a foreign place of a different culture or ethnicity or even language as well. Those are going to be the types that really pique your interest right about now. We've got this full moon happening this week as well, and this full moon is happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with siblings and neighbors. So these people are going to be wanting to talk to you. It looks like at least one person is going to want to pull you aside and have a one-on-one conversation. So hear them out, because ultimately it could be that very conversation that helps you see things not only from a different perspective, but really provides a catharsis for you to really tap into that Uranus and to really allow you to welcome in more love than you've known before. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got this Uranus standing still in the sky, happening in a part of the sky for you that has to do with home. So it is going to be home that calls you, parents, family of origin, but also when I mean home calls you, I mean you just got to be home is what it looks like. So there might be changes happening on the home front. All of a sudden you've got people who need to come in and do some work on the home front, and you've got to be there for it. So these are the types of things I see happening. Now there might be some issues, I gotta say, I'm going to be honest with you, where it comes to electricity around home. So if you are born right around the 10th of the month, 10th of January, you will likely experience this more than others of your sign, but all caps out there should be paying attention. It might just be that, you know, someone from electricity needs to like come in and check your levels or whatever it is that electricity people do. They do great work, I'm sure, but it's a bit of a mystery to me. I haven't really researched it too much. But yes, do be mindful of that, and do be mindful of all the electric currents. Make sure everything's locked up and very safe as well. It never hurts to do that. But also with changes happening on the home front, yes, there's that electrical element. It is Uranus after all. But there's also just the element of you needing to embrace and feel that there's something really honest happening in your home space. So there's going to be a real desire now for you to create that fortress of solitude that really is a genuine expression of you, and that really allows you to be more you at home and in the world as well. So, and your family, as I said, your family of origin, your parents might need your attention just very quickly, very suddenly. So do strive to be present for them. I do love the fact that we have this full moon happening. So this full moon is happening that is connected to the movement of Uranus as well. But this full moon is largely financial for you. So I spoke about this at length in the horoscope for the month of July, so you may want to have a look at that again. In the context of love, it's all about Venus, as I've been saying. Please do watch your Venus focused horoscope. I did a special horoscope where it just focused directly on Venus, so you are going to want to watch that. But with Venus beginning her retrograde motion, first in the sign of Virgo, which for you has to do with stepping out onto a bigger stage than you've known before. So it's almost like you're ready to step out onto that bigger stage. You know, you get up to the podium, if you will, and then you realize that there's some, you know, things that need to happen on a more deeper level, on a very fundamental level. You identify like what's happening on more secret grounds, if you will. So when I look at this, it's almost as if you're ready to share, and then you realize you need the money. You need to deal with people to get the money. And there's also going to be a real desire to have something very meaningful. So as much as there might be a part of you that feels ready to get out there and to experience more and love and all that kind of stuff in a bigger way, at the same time, there's something within you that wants something really honest. By the end of the week, you're going to be connecting more to that voice. So if you're in an established bond, you're going to be demanding a deeper intimacy. And if you're open to meeting somebody new, it's got to be real, or it's just not going to work. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. Well, this week really is so much about you. We've got Uranus, your ruling planet, standing still in the sky, beginning to go retrograde. And then we've also got this full moon in your sign happening at the end, or towards the end of the week. Now, think back to what was happening at the beginning of the year, mid-January, mid-February. That's when we had 2 back-to-back new moons in your sign, you might remember. Really poignant new moons at that, which were trying to get you to be honest with yourself and start a path that was truly rooted in a clear sense of who you are. And a fresh start on a level of identity was taking place at that time. Whatever was near and dear to your heart, you were planting seeds then. Well, this is a time when you start to reap fruition in some really important ways. You are going to be asked to, when the moon is in your sign, you are really pushing forward with a lot of emotional energy and a lot of emotional fortitude as well. And it is going to be other people who are there to support you in that. So make sure that you're talking it out every step of the way. This can be a time when some really powerful negotiations and some powerful agreements take place as well with other people, particularly if you work with a partner in terms of your business, in terms of your work as well. Where it comes to love, of course, for you, you are one of those signs that really is going to experience some big and important lessons in the context of love thanks to Venus retro in your opposite sign. Now, that's not what happens right off the bat. As we start this week, Venus is retro in a part of the sky for you that has to do with intimacy and bonding and caring and really wanting to get to know a person very deeply, and seeing the good and really understanding what you can do to be a really effective change. And what I mean by that is, how to get the result you really want. How is it you need to start positioning things so that you can experience what you want in love, whether in an established bond, most likely you'll be experiencing this in an established bond, or whether it's you want to be open to new love. But by the end of the week, Venus will retrograde into your opposite sign. And this to me is very powerful. This to me is speaking to you looking at where you are in love, wanting to be loved, and wanting passion as well. And so this is going to allow you to mend anything that needs to be mended with the one that you do love. Or if you're open to meeting somebody new, lots of cosmic support to make that happen for you as well. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we've got Uranus standing still in a part of the sky for you that has to do with finances. So this can be a time when you hear some financial news, and this really can. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm always going to be honest with you. This is going to go either way. Either there's going to be a big jump up, or it's going to go a different way. This is going to be about you coming to an understanding, coming to a different appreciation of ultimately what it is that is worth your money, what it is ultimately that you want to give, whether it's money or energy or any kind of resources too. So there could be an element here of buying or spending. Now do keep in mind, Venus is retro. As we start this week, Venus is retro. So keep in mind, keep purchases that have to do with like aesthetics and clothes and beauty and jewelry and things like that. Try to keep those purchases to a minimum because you may just change your mind after the fact, or change your mind in a few weeks' time. However, it does look like money and your self-worth and understanding that you deserve to experience greater prosperity, what needs to change within you so that you can experience greater prosperity, where it is that it's good to delay gratification where it comes to spending your money. These are all going to be themes that crop up for you, and especially in the early part of the week. This can represent a real breakthrough in terms of you welcoming in greater prosperity as well. So allow the universe to present its lessons to you. Either it's going to be you that has the breakthrough personally, where you realize you need to value what you give more and demand more for it, or it's going to be the universe that actually brings more to you and just demonstrates that to you. Now, I would be cautious if you're one of those people who's self-employed, who sets your own prices. Uranus retrograde in this part of the sky might not be the best time to raise your prices. Okay, just wait a little bit. I would advise you to just wait until Uranus is having a more positive conversation with another power player in the sky before you do that. But just as Uranus is beginning to go retro, you might want to hold off on raising prices. Also, where it comes to love, it's all about Venus this week, as I've been saying. It's all about Venus. Venus, the very start of the week, will retro in your opposite sign. So you've got a few days there as we start the week to really make the most of this, to reconnect the passion with the person you're with, or to make a very passionate connection at that. But as we progress into the week, Venus will retrograde into a different part of the sky for you, as I spoke about in the in the Venus special horoscopes that I did. You are going to want to watch that again. But this does suggest to me that a real genuine connection can be made It might take a little bit time to flush out, okay? It may need a little bit of time to really be maximized and really be realized. But understand that you've got some amazing cosmic support to make a heartfelt connection happen. So make sure you're busy, make sure you're out and about, especially as we're starting the week. And it is going to be those connections you make that in some way will return, whether they return over this Venus retrograde summer or not. They might over the summer, but very likely you will see a very strong return once we get a little bit further into the year in the month of August. Well, I will stop there. Thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.